Welcome to Smart, Amazing Conversations with Dr. Nancy, a podcast that takes a look at stories of life and leadership for smart, amazing women and men like you.
The way I can give support to the world right now is by showing up. The most important thing is don't think just that you have to bring anything. Bring yourself, show up.
If you are in a position of leadership and a position of management, bring women along with you.
Supporting women is Dr. Nancy's passion and her purpose, and talking with other women and men who promote women's leadership is one of her favorite things to do.
I've yet to meet a woman who did not know what she really wanted. She was just either afraid to ask the questions or she was afraid of what the answers meant.
Their stories connect us and help us understand that the possibilities are endless if we support each other and lift other women up.
Trust is created by persistent identity. I show up in my conversations. I build relationships. I show up as myself time and time and time again. And trust is built. It's one conversation at a time.
On today's episode, we are honored to welcome a trailblazing leader in American politics, the Honorable Carolyn B. Maloney. For more than 3 decades, Congresswoman Maloney represented New York in the United States House of Representatives, serving from 1993 to 2023. During her tenure, she became a nationally recognized advocate for financial reform, women's rights, and economic policy, making history as the first woman to chair both the House Committee on Oversight and Reform as well as the Joint Economic Committee. Congresswoman Maloney's impact is undeniable. She has more than 81 legislative measures to her name. She also played a key role in pushing forward the Equal Rights Amendment, continuing her fight for gender equality to this day as chair of the ERA Coalition and president of New York's chapter of the National Organization for Women. Currently, she's passing on her wealth of experience to the next generation of leaders as Eleanor Roosevelt Distinguished Chair in Residence at the Roosevelt House Public Policy Institute at Hunter College. Now, here's Dr. Nancy and her guest, the Honorable Carolyn B. Maloney.
Thank you so much for being with me here today. We are in some exciting times, and hopefully come November, we're all going to be jumping up for joy and clapping our hands wildly, and just wonderful things to look forward to. A country where we will all be proud to be Americans. Proud to be Americans. But, one of the things, I'm very honored that you're with me today because it's so important. Especially, there's so many women out there that could become wonderful leaders in offices, different offices, and take representation and run for Congress, and what you're doing and what you've done. And so your being here and we talking about this is so important. So first of all, how did you get to be you? I mean, your history, taking on this position that you took on and what you're doing today. I mean, there are reasons why you became who you are today.
Well, first of all, I must say that it's really exciting times. I never thought that I would see a woman president before women are even in the Constitution. And we are about to see that with the election of Kamala Harris. It's very, very exciting. Most of the jobs that I had in my life, I was the first woman to ever hold them. I was the first to represent my seat on the city council, the first woman in history to give birth while in the city council. Many men had become fathers, but it was unusual for women to be elected. And most of my life, I was the only woman in the room, or the only one on the dais, or the only one in the meeting, because so few women were elected or involved in public life. I was also the first woman to represent my district in Congress, the east side of Manhattan, the so-called Silk Stocking District, which was expanded into Brooklyn and into Queens. And I was the first to chair the Joint Economic Committee in Congress, and also the first to chair the Government Reform and Oversight Committee, the very powerful committee. It's the largest committee in Congress. I had a staff of 80, and our responsibility was to oversee and audit all of the functioning of government. It was a very, very important position. So it's been quite a challenging life. One of the things that I did not accomplish, I authored and passed over 80 bills and was rated in the last 10 years the first, second, or third most effective member of Congress. But one thing that I never was able to accomplish that I'm working on now with you is the Equal Rights Amendment. So when I lost my election, basically, I never, they redistricted me into another district that was not favorable to me. And anyway, I decided that I wanted to spend my time trying to have the Equal Rights Amendment recognized as ratified as the 28th Amendment. And of course, the times were very challenging with the Dobbs decision rolling back our rights, and with the other elements, you feel like you're in quicksand. And when they rolled back overthrew Roe v. Wade, they basically overthrew the 14th Amendment. They went back to originalism, which was saying we must interpret things as they were originally when the Constitution was written. Well, times are very different now. So basically what Spears encourages and inspires me to what I'm working on with you, which is recognition of the Equal Rights Amendment is ratified, is the fact that we're on quicksand. If they can take away a woman's right to choose, they can take away any other right. And we need to have an insurance policy. We need an iron wall to protect our rights. And that's the Equal Rights Amendment. So now I'm working full time on that. I'm on the board of the ERA Coalition, which I know you are too. And I founded my own organization called sign4era.org. And I want to encourage all of your listeners to go to their cell phones, go to the internet, go to the petition and sign it. And it's not an ordinary petition. We have computerized it so that we can contact the elected officials in each district. We have a map here of America, and we have over 115,000 people have signed the petition. And I want to urge everyone to go to sign4era.org and be part of the whole effort to move forward. And what we've done is that each congressional district, we have roughly anywhere to 400 or up people who've signed, and we're able to let them know if their member is supporting the Equal Rights Amendment or not, and encourage them to get their members to sign it. And we have a bill before Congress. It's the first time that we've had the same bill in both the House and the Senate. I worked very hard on the language and got constitutional scholars, Larry Tribe and others from Harvard, to approve it and say it was the right language. It does two things. It says the Equal Rights Amendment has met all of the requirements of Article 5 of the Constitution, 2/3 vote in the House and the Senate, 38 states ratified. And we need a sense of Congress that it has been ratified, and it removes the arbitrary time limit. Then President Biden said, I will sign it. I will sign it into law. I will make sure it's published by the archivist, and it'll be part of the Constitution. And then I can retire and spend more time on all the wonderful activities that you're involved in. And I plan to join you this weekend as we celebrate the Equal Rights Amendment and walk the High Line, and all in white, inspired by all of the women that came before us and all of their sacrifices to help us. And then I can just see Kamala being sworn in as the first female president, dressed all in purple, our color, and lifting the aspirations and hopes of all of women and like-minded men in America. So that's what I'm up to.
Well, she doesn't sleep much, though. I mean, she doesn't sleep much. Well, no, the ERA Coalition, I'm very proud to be a part of. The ERA Coalition is an exciting organization, and there's over 300 organizations involved and a part of that organization. So it goes broadly and vastly across the country. But again, what we need, four more votes? Is that what it is? Four more?
We have a motion to discharge is how we moved the vote in the 1970s to a vote. And at that time, Martha Griffiths, a Democrat, it was the Democratic Party was holding up the vote. And Gerald Ford and Betty Ford, he worked to get the votes on the Republican side. He's very proud of it. It's on his website. And Betty Ford was the head with Adler with a whole effort across the country. But they move it. All you need is to get 218 signatures, and you can move it to the floor for the vote over the objection of the party in power. In the 1970s, it was the Democratic Party. It's the Republican Party now. So we have every Democrat. We have 214 Democrats have signed, and we need to get 4 more Republicans. That's why we had our ERA bus that went all around the state.
How did that go?
Pennsylvania. It was very exciting. And we coordinated with the League of Women Voters, with the National Organization of Women, with AAUW and other women's organizations. And I started something called the Mayors for the ERA. So we had the mayors from Syracuse and the mayors from Utica sign the petition along with other mayors that have in New York. And they are very popular because they get things done. So certainly there'll be an important focus and support for the ERA. So we're just trying every day. Every day I wake up and try to figure out how I can move the needle a little more. And it's so important because I would say our rights are under assault. I never thought my daughters would have fewer rights that I have or had at their age. It's really very frightening. And we have to get women in the Constitution. And it's only 24 words. It says equality of rights shall not be denied or abridged by any state or by anyone on account of sex. That's all. It just basically says you cannot discriminate against women and empowers government to write laws to protect our rights. Right. And we've seen in the Morrison case on the violence against women, and I wrote that bill, or was part of the team that worked on it with President Biden. He had the 30th anniversary of it last week of the Violence Against Women Act, but we had a right to sue. And it was thrown out when Brancala, just to tell you about the case, it was her first night on campus at VPI or VMI in Virginia, and she was gang raped by the football team, or several of the players, about 4 of them. And they went to the school, they did nothing. They went to the city council, they did nothing. They went to the state, they did nothing. She appeals to the Supreme Court. She goes to the federal government, and they throw it out on a technicality that women are not in the Constitution, and we don't have the right to legislate in that area. The Equal Rights Amendment would change that. And I think that nothing would do more to stop violence against women than to have the right to sue. Because in this case, one of them even confessed, yes, I did it. And there were many witnesses. So there wasn't any question about he said, she said, what happened in the back room. Everybody knew she was raped, and they did nothing about it. And it's outrageous, and it's wrong. A rape is a crime, and people need to be held accountable. And with an ERA, they would be held accountable, and people would have the right to sue. That's just one example. I'll give another one. In my time in Congress, I did a GAO report every year on the unequal pay for the same work. And we're roughly 80 cents to the dollar. And it's been the same for 30 years. It hasn't changed. Last year, or year before last, I did one that looked at what was the cumulative value over those work life of a woman. And it's anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million that they're losing by not being paid equally. The Equal Rights Amendment would allow government to enforce equal pay for equal work. It's that simple. It's crucial. We have to do it for equality, for our children, for our grandchildren, and for the future.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Carolyn, a lot of people don't know about the ERA, especially some of the questions you have are about the young people. One of the things that really has been very unfortunate is that there are many people that do not know about the ERA and don't understand the ERA. And of course, our younger population. I'm also on the National Women's History Museum Board, which again is about the stories of women that you will be a part of, that in our history, that we're standing on those shoulders of them, but the stories of what they have done for us and for our country that no one knows about. And this is another, the ratification in Virginia, the 38th state, there wasn't a lot of publication. There wasn't a lot of news about that. And there was no reference to the Equal Rights Amendment. In fact, when I was talking to someone and I said, well, she said something about what you're doing. And I was explaining to her what I was doing with the Equal Rights Amendment, that I was on the ERA coalition. And I said, it's equal rights, pay, health, women's body, and she looked at me and she said, that sounds like socialism. There is such misunderstanding of what this amendment would do, not for only women, but men and women, children. It's for all of us. It's not just us. It's for everyone to have the ability to live in our country. And, Kamala is talking about that over and over again, about every person should have the right to live the life they want and to have the goals and the objectives they want in this country, and they can meet those. And there's no reason why they can't. And so with the Equal Rights Amendment and with good representation, such as yourself and women like our president, who truly understands it's about all of us. If there's a if there is a weak link in the chain, it breaks. We don't want that anymore. We want a chain that's strong and healthy, and we want people to be represented at all levels. So, the ERA coalition, the organization and your organizations, we have to get together. But what's most important probably right now is we need those votes. But we need people to get out and vote right now. Let's talk a little bit about the young people, because I think, the ERA coalition has a group of young people working diligently to have the 28th Amendment published in the Constitution, representing the Equal Rights Amendment. But where do you think where is our strength right now in our country that we can draw upon? Because voting is necessary. They've been talking about the young people coming out to want to vote this for these elections coming up more than ever. But I'd like your thoughts about that, because I think that's so very, very important right now, is that this next generation has to take the baton, but it has to start now. It has to start today.
Well, I'm teaching now at Hunter College, and the whole sign for the ERA petition was originated by Hunter College students. The first person to sign was Leader Chuck Schumer here at our school. Nancy Pelosi signed it at our school, and we now have over 115,000 signatures. And after your show, I hope we get another 115,000 signatures, that everybody will sign it and get their relatives to sign it. I would go back to the need really to raise awareness. And you mentioned the Women's Museum. I was walking around the mall, and I just was trying to think of how to get a bridge over to Republicans and Democrats working together on the ERA. I walked all the way around the mall, and I said, there's no women on the mall. So I put in a bill to have a National Smithsonian Women's Museum on the mall. And I was working with your group, and then it passed. So we now have it's now federal law that we will have a Smithsonian National Women's Museum. And we now, some are trying to say we can't be on the mall. We're half the population. We should be on the mall. And if you look at it, if the amount of statues for women are very few in the Capitol, very few national historic monuments. There were none about real women anywhere in New York until we just had a monument done with Harriet Tubman and Katie Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, but otherwise it was Old Lady in the Shoe and Alice in Wonderland, and no real women and their accomplishments.
Yeah.
I would say if it's hard to empower women if you don't even document what they've done. And when I started working on the museum, I thought, well, women aren't on the mall, they belong in the mall. I found out there's no museum anywhere in America that looks at the contributions comprehensively of women to this great country. So this museum is long overdue. And I'm on the board of the Smithsonian National Women's Museum, working together in conjunction still with your group too, because it's such an important goal to have. And it's outrageous when you think about it. The men have all the other museums. Can't we have one? Let's just have one. We have slivers like the Seneca Falls Museum, but that's just the ladies with the rights, the Declaration of Sentiments and the first Women's Rights Convention. It's not all the contributions of the women scientists and teachers and historians and health workers and so forth. So we need this museum, and I compliment your work on it. Tell us about your program this weekend. Tell us about that.
Well, let me just restate something. The National Women's History Museum has been in existence for over 20 years as a digital museum. And we are not really looking for a physical site so much as to continue to go all over the country with exhibits and again storytelling, the Quarters program. We have different programs that go, of course, and we are also on the Smithsonian board as well. So we contribute to one another and we continue to support one another. But this weekend is going to be a very, very fun weekend. Not only are we going to be celebrating Climate Week or having some meetings about that. I know the Dandelion Project is meeting as well with Pat Mitchell, but Tiffany Shalane is going to bring dendrofeminology to New York. She has we're going to march because we're going to march all in white. Do you have your white outfit, by the way, Carolyn? You have it all figured out?
I have so many white outfits because I go to Seneca Falls anytime. I love Seneca Falls. I think it's the birthplace of the women's movement, and we're so proud in New York to really be the bright states for women and LGBTQ plus community. Both of the movements started here in New York and are now national monuments. So I'm very proud of it. And every time I'm invited, I go, and I always have to wear white. So I am ready with white.
All right. Well, I'm going to get in my closet and look a little bit more. This is called a mobilization for women's rights and the planet. And it starts in Madison Square Park, the dendrophenology, a feminist tree ring, and inspiring speakers will be there. And then we're going to march. We're going to walk to the exhibition at the Nancy Hoffman Gallery. And the dendrophenology, which is this amazing tree ring, talks about women's history. And again, we don't know what we don't know. And you're absolutely right. Women, girls cannot be what they can't see, what they can't read about, and they can't hear about. So what we're all trying to do, and what you've been trying to do, is to continue to publish and to create awareness. Is that, you know, women have been we've done a lot more, and we've been more successful in so many areas that so many women don't understand. We come from a place of abundance, not one of scarcity. So I would urge everyone to come. And, you know, this is just going to be a wonderful thing. And then we're going to have Climate Week. But again, when we get out in public and we support these kinds of efforts and we join together, my saying has always been, you put 5 women together and you have a plan and you have a purpose, and you can do anything. We can do anything when we come together, and we need to understand that. But this is going to be a wonderful event. I look forward to seeing you. Everything that we're talking about will be on the website, your organization, and where people can go to sign up and to become involved. But we need people to participate. You know, we can't let people just sit back. You know, and there's so many people that say, I don't know what to do, or I don't think my vote matters, and I don't think what I do matters. And that's absolutely wrong. Everybody has to have the right to vote is an amazing thing in our country. There's so many other countries, look at Venezuela, look at countries that are struggling for representation or validity of leaders. But we in the United States have the ability to go out and vote for a person that will truly represent what we want. And I think it's true. We want a country that we feel proud of, and that we can achieve our goals, and our children can achieve their goals as they grow and they become citizens. But we need more representation, such as yourself. You're out there talking, and I know there's young women that are going, geez, I'd like to be like her. I'd like to do that. I'd like to
Well,
be.
they want to be like you, Dr. Nancy.
Well, they want to be, they want to hear, they want to believe that their voices are important. And you and I both know that's what we both are doing. We're out there telling women they can be and do anything that they want to be and do. So that is what we're all talking about. But again, we're all in this together. That's the other thing I say a lot of, but we're all in this together. But it's going to take all of us to get to the end, to get to the successful end that we're looking for. So
my goal is this year, 2024, let's get it through Congress and in the Constitution. It's been 101 years, not 1 year more. And I am determined to get it to the floor for a vote. Like Rosie the Riveter, we can do it, right?
I am with you, and I look forward to seeing you in New York in your white outfit. And I'm going to run in there and look in my closet and find my white outfit. But again, our work is not done. And even after the ERA amendment is passed, we're going to have to continue to work towards understanding and how it works in our country. But let's get there first. Let's get the representation we want. And I'm going to put my little sign up one more time, put it down real quick, because I'm not supposed to do that kind of stuff. But but wait a minute, I'll put it up one more time because I'm not supposed to do that stuff. But anyway, thank you, Honorable Maloney, for being with me today. Congresswoman Maloney, thank you for being with me today. Final words, where can people go? Where should they go to join and to get involved?
Well, if they would sign the petition, sign for ERA.org. When people say what can I do? Sign the petition, get your friends to sign, because it goes into a database that we're using to really inform legislators that their constituents care about equality and rights for women, and just help us get women into the Constitution. If they can take away a woman's right to choose, as they did with the Dobbs decision, they can take away any other right we have and that we've worked so hard to put in place. And that decision undermines the 14th Amendment, the right to privacy, and really puts in jeopardy all of these other laws that we have passed to help women. So it's important, very important.
What is it?
Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Body rights are human rights. And yes, we need that representation. So people have to go out and not only vote for the Equal Rights Amendment, to sign and vote for the petition, but they have to
absolutely
vote for someone who's going to make a difference in our country better than any other person that we've ever needed and so badly need at this point in our history. So
and know where people stand. Find out if constituents, or find out if the candidates support the Equal Rights Amendment, if they support a woman's right to choose, like Kamala Harris does, then make sure that the other Congress people and senators support it, and others, and vote for those that support you having equality of opportunity and equality of rights. It's that simple.
Yeah, and the Constitution should protect women as well as men. Well,
amen.
We'll stop at that point, but we have much to do. But I will see you in New York, and we will get this information on our website and make sure that we get the word out. We've got to keep talking about this, and we've got to keep pounding away at what we need to get done. So thank you for everything you do and have done and will do in the future. So have a wonderful day. I will see you soon.
I will see you soon. Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy, and thank you for having me on your show. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great day. If you enjoy these smart, amazing conversations, please subscribe, rate, and review them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And read and enjoy more amazing stories in my books, In This Together, How Successful Women Support Each Other in Work and Life, and Leading Women, 20 Influential Women Share Their Secrets to Leadership, Business, and Life. Thank you for listening.